everybody. We are here live back on Animal House Radio. You thought we were going away, but we're back. And what better way to kick off our show again with a dear friend of the show, both personally and professionally? She is um, one of the most iconic actors that I grew up watching on TV, and it's a pleasure to for me to say I'm a fan, and it's a pleasure for me to call her my friend. She's got a new book out. I think it's the third in the series of best-selling books. I'm not even going to wrestle with the name. I'm going to let her tell you what it because it is a tongue twister. But please welcome back on the show the iconic Diane Franklin.
Hello, bonjour.
Oh, there we go. Diane, it's so good to see you. And as always, we love having you on.
It's a pleasure to be back. It's so nice to be invited, to do these things and then come back and then talk about good news and new things. And
oh, absolutely. You know what? The last time we saw you was we did the ladies of the 80s. It was you, Claudia Wells, and Tawny. And what a shame about Tawny. I loved her so much.
I mean, those of you who know Tawny Katane passed away. Tawny and I met through 80s in the Sand, as far as an 80s event. And we said, oh, we're going to get together and talk. And then the last time we did a show was the first time that Tawny and I got to talk. So we were saying things like, oh, what are your kids doing? And, or what are you working on? Or, we just, or even things like I auditioned for Bachelor Party. I got called back and she got it. Just cool things that we didn't know.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that either. Wow. That's a nice trivia question there.
I auditioned I actually got a call back for Bachelor Party. It was at that time, that was, that's a big thing when you get a call back at that time.
Right.
We really went through people, but it's just fascinating because we're so different, but yet how fun that was something that I could say, oh my gosh, I remember, I auditioned for that. And how, and then just talking to her and finding out what a genuine and sweet person she is.
Yeah.
And then life is precious. I mean, that's what these podcasts are so important because you just don't know nowadays,
You know what? This COVID really, it woke a lot of people up. And I think that, especially guys like me, I was doing radio before the COVID hit, but I think doing the video, I think it's going to be a long-standing thing because it connected people when they were stuck home. And I think now this is the new platform. Mm-hmm. As much as everybody loves to hear somebody talking on it, but you appreciate the video presentation more. It brings them right into the living room. Yeah, like I said, I had the 80s meant so much to me growing up, and you were a big part of that. And that's why I enjoyed it. And that was a very well received show that we did. We got almost 100,000 views on it.
Wow.
When we did that, we were in the midst of COVID, and LA was crazy, and it's got to be so great for you to finally have. Is it things opening up out in LA now, or?
Yes, although it's interesting. I don't know. It's very interesting. I have been since COVID hit. Before the vaccine, I had to do a movie. Uh-huh. I was then I had to go on a plane. I went to Florida. I had to go to Virginia. I was in the center of it. And I have an immune system that's delicate. Okay. So I'm a healthy person, but I was like the poster child of if someone's going to get sick, it's going to be me because I'm in the older age range and all that stuff. And I never got it. But I then got all my vaccines. And I never got it because for me, I wore those KN95 masks and I just didn't take it off. And I just I watched my time, spending it with people. And but I think it's just interesting because it's been such a journey for every single person, not just me. Everybody has gone through COVID in their own way and they have their own stories. And some people I know a couple of people who died from COVID. And it's interesting, like how often does somebody say they know they died from something that was going on? And I just feel for people. And with Tawny, I was like, oh wow, like wait a minute, people are even dropping out on the other side of that, like from other
It
things.
was so unexpected because she wasn't sick or none that I knew of. And like I was telling you before we got on the air, I talked to her. I kept in touch with her regularly, and she was such a sweet, sweet soul. And as much as everybody knew her as Tony, I knew her as Julie. You know what I'm saying? Because off camera it was Julie, and like I said, that's one thing that I'll never forget. And having you on the show was always great. I mean, you got the new book out, and as usual, it's doing great. I'm not even going to wrestle with the name. I'm going to leave that to you because it's
all right. So here we go. Since we're on camera, and those of you, if you're listening to radio, then you're going to have to catch up and go on Amazon. Just look up Diane Franklin book. It's easier because the title is Diane Franklin, the excellent comedy of the last American French exchange babe of the 80s.
All right, so walk me through who comes up with these titles. Do you sit in a room and say, "Let's make the biggest title we could possibly find"?
I came up with the title of first of Diane Franklin, The Excellent Adventures of the Last American French Exchange Babe of the 80s. No. I came up with that because I knew you cannot say that without putting a smile on your face. I mean, you're like, it's just, I just thought we're going to have a sense of humor. And I really wanted people to know I have a sense of humor and the books reflect my writing. So, right. The first one was The Excellent. I'll show people.
I have the first two because you signed both of them for me.
This was The Excellent Adventure. So this is about, my life as an actress. If you don't know anything about me, this book is the one to get. It's the first one I did. And it just talks about how does one become an actor, the actor's life, just in general. But this is classic. This is how I'm in the entertainment business. And then the second one is Excellent Curls, because this was about Last American Virgin and how curly hair, my curly hair kickstarted all that curly hair in the 80s, that trend.
Oh, really? You were the trendsetter for that?
I was the first teen actress with dark curly hair to kickstart all the perms. Like that, me in that movie, because before that, no teens were the dream girl. They were always cast as the frumpy girl or the girl who didn't get the guy. It was never the dream girl. And that movie changed everything. Like all of a sudden, guys started saying, oh, like we love the curly hair. Like they fell in love with dark curly haired looks. And so then it became like everybody had curly hair. It was the timing. But I was the first teen to have that kind of, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. You started
blonde, straight, hair, which was gorgeous and beautiful. Farrah Fawcett and Jodie Foster hair, like the shags and all this stuff. Yeah. But this was the first time curly hair became beautiful. So I wrote this book about it because I remember it happening, and I even wrote about it in when I did publicity. Like I was like, I can't even believe that I was getting the lead. I had this, I would have this look, but luckily I'd been acting for like 9 years before I was really ready to go. So this, you like Last American Virgin? Oh my gosh, this one is like, has so many great pictures and things you will never see in other
I love the stories that you've told us over the years about being on the set. One of the coolest things I found out is the picture of you with the tube top. That's really a headband.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's a headband. Yeah.
Oh my God. When you told me that was crazy. That was so funny.
It's I love it. I love it. And at that time, everybody, I mean, that was like, I don't know. It was cool. It was hip.
Yeah.
On something and you're fine, right?
Yeah. And I'm sure. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, what's funny about Virgin, by the way, is I just yesterday, it's the 40th anniversary of doing Virgin, and I just did American Cinematique had a screening at Los Feliz 3, and I was there with Lawrence Monason again, and we were doing Q&A, and it was full house, packed, and people had a great time. We got to go down memory lane, and also the director's daughter was there, and that was amazing. Like she was like, because Boaz, I think it's hard to come, now with everybody in COVID and everything. So he couldn't make it, but it was great to see his daughter. It was like,
Yeah.
for us, it was such a reward after that whole film, and I learned things I didn't know, and from Lawrence. So
Yeah.
anyway, I tell you, if you haven't seen The Last American Virgin, it's
If you haven't, then there's something wrong with you, because it's a classic of the. And I'm not just saying this because I'm biased, obviously, for the
yeah.
80s. You know, I find myself watching that stuff as often as I can find it. Anytime one of those Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, all of them. But I'm sure a lot of people want to know. And every time we see you, we're getting older and uglier, and you're getting younger. Where did you find the fountain of youth, Diane?
You are so sweet and generous, and I love you. And I love you now. I think I've I I'm always been somebody who's been physically active,
Right.
and I think that really helps. I'm trying to drink more water now, although I didn't. I didn't drink all the time I raised my kids, for sure. Did not drink
Right.
a glass. So there was a portion of my life I didn't drink. Now I have like wine every once in a while or something like that. So, but I guess it has to do with as an actor, you always have to. You can't let yourself go over the falls.
Yeah.
It's always kind of like live life, pull back, live life, pull back. You always have to have sort of, people talk about moderation. I don't know. It's more about knowing yourself and knowing knowing what you can do and what you can't do.
Knowing your limits. Yeah.
Yeah. Like for instance, if I have chocolate cake, I'm all in, right?
Yeah.
But I'll have a salad for my next meal. Like I'm not going to have the steak and the salad and the dessert and then everything. So I think it's just everything kind of in moderation. And then as I've gotten older, I do know that, weight is something that everyone's very concerned about. And as you get older, they say metabolism slows down. I really think more it's that activity slows down. So if you're walking or running or something, you will lose the weight. It does happen. It's just that it takes
well, you have to put the work in,
Yeah,
I mean,
you do.
you know what I like about you, Diane? And
Yeah.
you keep it real. And as a fan, I appreciate that you didn't do all these crazy things to yourself, as far as nip and tuck. And I see, and I get it. You're in Hollywood. You got to be in front of the camera. But God, I'm not going to mention no names or anything. But some people age better than others. I get it. It's genetics, whatever.
But I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things I feel is, and like, by the way, like, yeah, if anyone wants, like, does that's their thing, I have no problem with that. But to me, the problem with getting work done always felt to me like you felt ashamed of yourself and your look. And I think that that's not okay, because that sends the wrong message to the younger generation. You don't have to. In fact, I think younger people like it when they see someone who's authentically their age and what they look like. They feel like, oh my gosh, like you can get older and you don't, like, it's just part of nature. And, your lines are your life. They tell the story of your life. And if you people are like cry a lot, like, okay, they're going to have like a lot of under their eye. And like, that's beautiful. Like, why are we,
I guess because Hollywood is, the vanity. It's and I get it.
The younger ones are doing it too. Stop. It's like, the younger one. So many young people are trying to get all this surgery. The problem is, again, it's going to backlash. Like, it's going to be like everybody doing it. Everyone's getting all these facial things or whatever, nip tuck, blah, blah, blah. And then it's going to go completely the opposite. Natural, we went to, remember the no bra phase and all that, like,
Yeah.
And it was like, oh yeah, we're just hanging out there. It was so, when we go through a generation of experiences, like, we think that's it, but it has a flip effect. So I really think just people have to connect to themselves, what feels right to them. Don't do it out of pressure to other people. I do know you are correct that in Hollywood, a lot of actors feel very pressured. They feel like if they don't get work done, they are not going to get hired. Ironically, I've had somebody tell me, a casting director said, you are, to a certain age, you're not, we wish people would stay more natural, because everyone's getting work done. No, we don't know anybody who looks their age anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And also, if you do time period pieces, nobody looks like that, right? So the
Yeah,
minute you
yeah.
get that work done, you're like, oops, you can't do like something from a different time period, 50s or something. So
The whole problem with it is that it doesn't stop. You do one, and then people get like obsessed with it, like, and then they're like, there
they
was
can't
I
even
can't remember.
see, they cannot even see themselves. I agree. I agree.
There was the one lady, they called her the cat lady. I mean, she had so much. I think she was here in New York. Her name was Jocelyn Wildenstein or something,
Mhm.
and she looked like the Beauty and the Beast, the Beast. Like that's how much work she had done. And I'm like, like I said, I get it, and it's well to back it up a bit. Speaking of the younger generation, I can't believe since we've known each other how big Olivia has gotten, and she is kicking ass and taking names.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. My daughter Olivia De Laurentiis. I gotta say, like, first of all, I'm so proud of her. She is really taking advantage of the world and all the different forms of media. She's done film, she's been on TV series, she has her own talk show on YouTube called Olivia and Sid Talk Shit, which is hilarious. And so they have their own show that's they're being paid for and they're doing, and
Right.
and then they have they're on TikTok where they have great sketch comedy,
Right.
and they have a couple of shows that I can't talk about it, but they've got a couple of things coming up that keep your fingers crossed, because
Okay, yeah.
I would never say this about any person in general, but I know if anybody can have a show and run it, it's Olivia, and she wants to have her own show.
Well, let me
And
tell you something. Not to knock the entertainment industry, but
yeah,
for some of the people I see on TV, Olivia should be like an A-lister by now. You know what I'm saying? But
aw, thank you. That's
let me
sweet.
ask you a question. Did she find? I mean, obviously having Diane Franklin as a mom has got to be a plus. I mean, obviously you were probably her biggest influence, but did she like want to follow in your footsteps, or she found the love of it all on her own?
She didn't even know that I had footsteps when she started her interests and her things. She was like, I mean, once in a while, like, we'd go out and like people would be like, oh my gosh, your mom. Like, she'd be like, why are they recognizing you? But she started so young with her desire and her passion and her interest. And it's because as a mother, I set up a very creative and accepting home. And
Right.
so she knew, like, I would be like, yeah, like, what do you like to do? And I was open to her doing anything. She could have been,
Right.
a vet, or a basketball.
You didn't try to steer away from the pitfall. You said, listen, that's what you want to do. Like some people are like, oh, you're going to be a
Oh,
doctor or a lawyer. You're going to go to school. But,
no.
especially knowing, having your inside knowledge of everything, you're like, I'm glad that you supported her.
Well, this is my experience. And, look, every parent has a different way they've been raised. And so they don't feel this, they don't understand it. And, we learn from the past, we learn what we would do and what we wouldn't do. When I was a kid, I knew very early what I wanted to do. And my parents said, great. And I think they said it also because they were of an older generation. My parents were in their 40s when I was born. So by the time I came, they were like, we're too tired to like stop this. The youngest. The youngest is always the one that breaks out, I want to be in showbiz, whatever. So my parents were supportive from the get-go, which allowed me to start early. And that is what gave me the opportunity to do what I love. So what happens is, if you're a parent and you say, well, you can't do this till you're 18, or you can't do it takes 10 years to ramp up. So, and I'm not saying that you can't reach your success. People reach it at all different ages. But when you're starting, you've got that ramp up time where you got to learn about the business. You got to understand what's professional. There's so many things that you have to ramp up for, that the earlier you start, the better. And I knew when my kids were little, I just said, what is it you want to do? And I know when you're an actor, your kids want to be actors. I don't care who they are. It might hit middle school. They're like, I want to do this. And I was like, no. Like you just said, like, what are the pitfalls? So what happened was, Olivia had like a photographic memory. And when she was five, I mean, she had an IQ of an 18-year-old. It was literally like we had her tested. It was like, okay, like what happens now? I mean, intellectually, not emotionally. She's still a child, right? She still has to go through life and grow up and, make friends and, talk to kids her own age. And like, the process of aging, you have to remember, is intellectual, but it's also emotional. So you cannot push a child into something, even though they're really, really smart, unless they're emotionally ready. So when you say to me, what did I do? When I brought her into the, like I said, okay, you want to be an actor? You want to try auditions? And she started doing them. She liked it. It was a challenge for her and she enjoyed it. But then when home computers, she started going, oh, I like writing. And that's when I said, okay, you know what? Filmmaking started coming out and she wanted to write her own stories and be in them. And so she started filmmaking. And that was when I was like, okay, that's her direction. So let's pull back from the acting more and let her act in her own things and practice filmmaking. And she did that in her teens.
Yeah, let her steer the ship, right? Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think what you said before is, it's not so much now, but when like back when we were younger, like parents tried to steer you in what you want to do. Nowadays, I think the parents are more okay, whatever, they support them, whatever they want to do, which is good, especially what you said with the emotional factor.
Yeah. I mean, my son, I tried acting with him because of course, we go in our audition. He had bright red curly hair. So they'd be like, bring him in bring him into audition.
Right.
And for him, he was like, I don't want to do this. And he was like, I don't know, 4 or something. He was like, nope, I want to be a musician. And I was like, there he goes. So it took him a little while to find the instrument, but he's a musician and he knew at an early age. So the idea is you're saying to yourself, okay, now as a parent, I didn't know that world. Just like, a lot of parents don't know the acting world. You just have to ask around and you have to find people that are trustworthy and connections that are, that, keep your child safe. And that's really, I think really what it is for me. Like, I just am so grateful. She's worked so hard since she was so young. She earned it. And here's the thing. She's now emotionally ready. If she would have hit her success at 18 too early. And now I tell her, I said, do you realize now when I was telling you? She goes, yeah. She goes, I see, I wasn't ready. And she had terrible, disappointments like everybody does. You don't get what, this job, you don't get that. But do you stay in it? And that's the thing I never knew. Like, I was like, you could teach your child something, but you don't know their resilience. And she could have said, you know what? They don't want me, fine. I'm moving on, blah, 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 But she was like, oh, it doesn't work? Okay.
Right. Okay, and she did it the right way. She did it slow and steady wins the race. Sometimes if it comes, a lot of people, if they get success right away and they can't handle it, if it gets too much for them, at that age, they're not emotionally ready for that.
If you have quick success, call me, find me, go on actress Diane Franklin and email me. I will give you some advice because I tell you something. There's a lot of people. I wish that's one of the things actually one was thinking of doing is helping actors who are struggling with how to live, how to make a living, how to deal with and cope with the life. Because everyone might want to be famous. Everyone might want to be an actor, whoever it is, but they don't know how to deal with the life. And I have a lot to say. I might even write a book about it. I think it's important.
So we have a number 4 in the works, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe we're just discovering it right now. So
there you go. All right. So Diane, let's talk about the book. I'm excited. Now, is this the one? Because I remember I saw you at one of the conventions. Is this the one where you put all the pictures of everybody that took in the jacket? So my picture's got to be in there.
Yes, it is. Okay, I'm gonna look. And by the way, this is it's 10 years of people putting on the coat. So many different. So which convention was it? Do you remember?
It was in Jersey. Okay, I think it was the HorrorCon. Okay, the HorrorCon or Chiller, one of those.
All right, I'm gonna look. Oh yeah, you're right. It could be Chiller too.
And I talked to a mutual friend of ours. He said to say hello. I talked to Joe Rubo the other day. He's my Goomba.
How is he? Oh, he's back in Florida, right?
Yeah, he's doing some kind of celebrity boxing thing. So he's in training right now.
He is gonna box?
Yeah. That's so funny.
Good for him, but I can't even imagine. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm looking.
Now, I know this got to be hard for you, Diane, but this is a question I've always wanted to ask you. You've been in so many movies, especially specifically the 80s movies. Which one did you have the most fun doing? I mean, they all look like they were fun. I know it's hard. It's like trying to pick your favorite Beatles song, but
seriously. I gotta say Better Off Dead.
Yeah.
I gotta say this movie. This was the most. I mean, there were great things about all the movies because every movie has a challenge and it's exciting but this one it was Better Off Dead was my favorite, which is why I love this book so much because it was a chance for me to talk about all the people that I loved working with and to go down memory lane. I had a blast. I mean, literally, I did interviews, Zoom interviews with so many people, and I've got these interviews, and it was like I was thinking, oh my gosh, what an amazing experience that I was in this film, and now I'm interviewing, let's say Curtis Armstrong, and we're reminiscing. And like I translated it to the interview, but for me, like a personal thing. Or I got to talk with Cy Kernan, who sang With One Look.
Okay.
And he didn't know me, I didn't know him, but yet he's singing a song that plays when I'm in the film.
Right.
And so we were going back and going, did you imagine what the film was like? Did they show you any credits, or anything, any footage? So I think it's super.
It became like an instant cult classic. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was hysterical. As the part of Monique, was that scripted? I mean, the character was scripted, but was there anything that you ad-libbed as far as Monique? Like as far as like what's his name? The one that played Ricky.
Ricky was played by Dan Schneider.
Dan Schneider with the tentacles. Was that in the script or you ad-libbed that?
Oh no, that was in the script. The tentacles was definitely in the script. Tentacles. But what wasn't was all the French that I said. Oh mon Dieu, that's oh shit in French. So I put, because I figure, if you're upset, you always go to your native language to curse or to get,
yeah.
You're like, oh. So I all the French in it I put in, and all the physical, some of the physical things I did were one of my favorite things was when John takes me out of the car and brings me into the burger place.
Yes.
The Pig Burger. Originally, when we did that, Savage just had me walk into the restaurant, and I was like, no. We've got to make this more interesting. It should be a total surprise. John should make it a total surprise. So they put, like I said, here, I don't even know what they gave me, but we put something around my eyes, and so he leads me in. And so that was my idea. I love that moment because it just makes it so much more anticipating and special when I do see. It's not like I just walk in, he takes it off.
Right.
So there's moments like this. Everybody in the film did some type of personal improv, but it was all around the script. We kept everything.
Okay, yeah. That's
and
cool.
there were some scenes, I think that there was a couple of scenes I think that Savage could not use. Like, I think in the story, John plays the saxophone.
Yes.
But I think he played the song Flipper. And I think they shot it, but they didn't put it in the movie, or they wanted to it was something about that. But there were some things that didn't make it into the film. But I found all this out when I did this book. There were so many things I didn't know.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
There was so many. And what happened was when I told Savage, I said, could you send me anything you want, And he sent me like 30 pages. He was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to send you stuff. And I was like, and I'm reading. And literally, when you read this book, you will laugh out loud. You cannot read this book without laughing out loud. But I will recommend seeing the film first if you haven't seen it. And then.
Yes. Like I said, if somebody hasn't seen it, then there's got to be something wrong. But here's the link. I'm going to put it up right now for the Amazon if you want to pick up the book. And if you haven't gotten the previous two, I recommend all three. If Diane's going to be in your area at a convention, go over and say hello to her. I'll tell you what I like about her. And, years ago, I wasn't into conventions because a lot of the people, I think they lost touch of why they're there. They're like, okay, this is this much. All right, goodbye. Diane will sit with you and talk with you for 20 minutes. It may not be to the liking of the person who booked her, but we sat one time and she talked and she wrote like a half a paragraph inside my book, and it made me feel good because I enjoy, the dream becomes a reality. You see somebody on TV, now you're standing next to them. It may not be, if a lot of people, I don't know, I guess
Yeah.
I get a little starstruck, but it means me because they were a part of my childhood, my teenage years in high school. The 80s were, to me, the 80s were the best decade. And, I'm not just saying this because I lived it, but,
Yeah. No, I tell you, the reason why I talk to people is because, or spend time, is because I know what it's like to be a fan. I never forgot that. Like, it means so much to me. And I always felt like, oh my gosh, like sometimes you go and you see someone in a movie and then you see them in person, you're like, oh man, they're not what I wanted. And it's okay. It's not the actor's job to be what you want them to be, but it's like really, like it's a bummer. So I always feel like I want I want people who come to see me at a convention to leave feeling better than they did when they first came. I want them
I don't expect them to be a certain, just semi-appreciative that I'm there to say, hey, thank you for entertaining me, and not just a money grab. And I'm not begrudging people for making money. You deserve to make money. Was there anything that a fan came up to you at a convention and like new stuff that you didn't even know or shocked you?
Yes. Okay. So that's a great question. I don't think anyone's asked that question ever. Okay. So some of the things that people have come with, a little Camaro model. I've had maybe 3 people in all the years I've done this. So I signed a little Matchbox car kind of, but they're always like exactly like Better Off Dead, the Camaro in it, which is beautiful. So
Oh wow.
that's little. Then somebody comes with an actual Camaro.
Oh my
And
God.
had me sign the inside hood of the car. And then we took pictures of me being in the car. So that was great. Actual car, like I left the convention, came out, we took pictures, went back in. So
Oh
cool.
wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
Then I've seen a variety of posters over the years, all kinds of posters. Oh, one person had me sign a lemon, which is great. I'm brilliant, because I throw the lemons in the movie, or
right.
oranges. I forgot. I think they're lemons and then oranges in Last American Virgin. So they bring oranges.
You're getting your wires crossed here now.
Yeah,
oranges,
exactly. What movie is
apples
this?
and oranges.
Right, exactly. What film? And then one person had a tattoo, wanted me to sign my name on them, on their body.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I got the hip, which was good. Because, can you sign my, I don't know, what do you get?
Right, yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Is the pen going to work? I'm not sure. Maybe we should use something softer. I don't know. But anyway, I drew my name on his body and he had it tattooed later on. But his body was covered with signatures.
Right. He's like, he's probably like, can you sign my hip? And you're like,
right. Okay, come on. All right.
So besides the book now, what else you got going on? Coming out of COVID, you must be like a bull in a, out of the gate, working and.
Well, what's funny is I did work somewhat during COVID. The beginning of COVID, 2020, I think. I did Ted Bundy, American Boogeyman, which is on Hulu right now.
Ooh, okay. Oh, yeah.
And I have a scene in it where I play, I have a cameo, but my daughter Olivia's in it. And that's what makes this very special to me. And
I got to watch that now.
Oh, she's the one who fights off Bundy. So
okay.
You'll see her and me in the same movie. And we don't play mother and daughter, but I'm very, very grateful. The director, Daniel Ferrens, who did Amityville Murders, he asked me to come back. He actually hired Olivia first. In fact, he auditioned her and I wasn't even part of it. And I'm like, I wish I was in a Ted Bundy movie. And then it was like, she's like, she got it. And then from that, they found out about me and he knew it was like me. And then he's like, could you come? And it was during COVID. So, I'm sure it didn't hurt that it was another person they knew didn't have it or whatever. So, but I did that. And I did a movie called High Holiday, which is out on Peacock right now. And I'm in the 2 scenes, beginning and the end. And I have a scene with Tom Arnold and Cloris Leachman's in it. And we did it.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Such a
Now there's somebody with if there's an iconic individual, Cloris Leachman. Oh my God, I
right?
could just imagine. What was it like being on the set with her?
I unfortunately wasn't there the day she was working. I worked with I
Oh,
saw Jennifer Tilly. Jennifer and I
oh,
did a TV show together when we were younger, and Jennifer is awesome. I love Jennifer. So today,
yes.
Jennifer and I were good. She's got the lead, and she's wonderful. And yeah, if you follow Jennifer, she's lovely. And Tom Arnold was such a cool guy. I mean, I
I'm
was
working
really,
to get him on the show. His, his PRP. Some of these PR people, they're tough, but I'm gonna wear
yeah,
them out.
yeah.
You know
No,
how it
I
goes.
know you got to keep trying, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Something you said earlier was interesting. You said Olivia didn't know what you did when she found out like who you were. What was her reaction? Like when she,
yeah,
oh my
no,
God,
that's
my mother is Diane Franklin.
yeah. Well, it's a good. She's still. I think she's still like what? Um, you know, what's interesting is what her experience of it would be as she got older. Like first, people would come up to me and they'd want autographs. Like we'd be in a restaurant and people would come up and go, "Oh my gosh, could you please sign an autograph?" Or like, "I really, you were like in this movie. Can we take a picture together?" So that was the first thing. And so it was sort of like, oh well, I don't know who this person is, whatever. And she'd be like, 10 or 11 or something. But as she got older, what was happening was people would go like, she'd say something like, "Oh yeah, my mom, oh yeah, you can come over to the house, or whatever, hang out," or like, and they'd be like, "Your mom's Diane Franklin?" Like they would lose it, and she'd be like, "Yeah," or like, you know what I mean? Like, or she'd be doing it and go, "Yeah, mom, they say that it was that kind of thing at the beginning, like."
Oh my God, that's so
Okay, they
funny.
were all excited to meet you, so you're gonna have to meet my so and so, right? It
Oh
was
my God, that's funny.
very
So
funny, very funny. And we would like the one of the funniest and cutest things was once I was just like, oh my gosh. So I'm cooking downstairs in the house, and when I think my son was probably I'm gonna say 6 or 5, and my daughter is like 7 or 8, and so Nick comes downstairs and he goes, "Mom, there's this lady on TV and she looks just like you. We're watching TV." And I'm like, do I have long, dark curly hair? And he says, "Yeah." And then we run upstairs and Olivia's there too, and we're all watching it. It's Last American Virgin. And
oh
it's
my God.
just about to be the scene where I'm
Right, right.
more
Yes. Yeah.
open, let's I say. And Olivia says to Nick, she goes, "Nick, cover your eyes. Mom's gonna be naked." And I'm like, what
That's
is
too
happening?
funny.
And then it was the VHS version. So it was totally fine. And I was like,
Oh my God, that's
how am I
too
gonna
funny.
explain? I'm like, Nick, just whatever. It's yeah, just
Yeah.
but I mean, who has that? I
You
mean,
had to give them the birds and the bees early.
let's just talk about this now. Okay. So the kids have definitely they're just I don't know, they just they get it. I think they're honestly, they're so
You're just
proud.
mom. You're just
I'm
mom. That's
mom.
it.
I'm
Yeah.
mom. And they're proud of me and I for them. So I will always be mom to them, and as it should be. As it should be.
Absolutely. Now, what convention wise, you have anything coming up? You're going to be like in this area, Jersey at all?
No, you go tell the New Jersey HorrorCon. I love to come. These are the ones that I have coming up. I have one. I'm not sure where it is. Finding out soon. I know that I will be at 80. Well, okay, 80s in the Sand. I'm just going to go knock on wood for that. I usually do that every year. That's like the week of October.
Right.
Last week of October.
Right.
And I'm supposed to go to England in November, the 17th or the 24th. It's like the week before Thanksgiving. And there's going to be some events that I'm attending there in England. So I'm going to Europe. So that's cool. And very cool. And there's some other conventions. My agent is setting them up, so I don't know where they are. But I think next year next in 2023, I might be going to Alaska. I don't know, going all different places. I am going to Kentucky in this month to do like a workshop, and there's going to be a photo shoot with a photographer there. So if anyone does acting and you live in Kentucky, I'm going to be teaching. I think it's the weekend of the 20th and the 21st.
Oh, wow.
Louisville. So
cool.
You can look on my website for information on it. So
absolutely. Give the website out to everybody.
I will. And so actually the big thing this year is mostly my book. I am promoting it all year long. So there are things that are going to come out. Like a lot of times people go, oh, it's the book. And then it has a big opening and then it closes. Because I have nostalgia, I'm using the whole year to put it out there. And I have some very big surprises for people throughout the year that I'm doing based on the book.
Oh,
So
cool. Okay.
as we get towards Christmas, I mean, I know that this book will be just a beloved purchase. And then with conventions, yeah, we'll see, because I am only signing at conventions right now. So, but later on maybe. But
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to Ryan Weber from New Jersey HorrorCon and tell him you get Diane over there. She wants to
oh my
come.
God, wouldn't that be awesome?
Absolutely, yeah.
I appreciate you saying that. It makes me feel happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And as always, it's always great catching up with you. And I'm glad to see that you're out and about. I'm so happy for Olivia and proud of her. And
Thank you for being in the corner, because I mean, for her, because obviously she's the next generation, and
yeah.
guys, like, just follow Olivia De Laurentiis. Go and look at all her stuff. I'm telling you, she's beautiful, she's funny, she's smart, and you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, whatever happened to that? Weren't you two supposed to do a reality show, Live and Die in LA?
Yes, we did a little bit of it, but because she got so much work, she got so busy. She is so busy right now that, on Mother's Day, she came, like, we were so happy because she just came over and we were like, let's just sit down. And my son was in Chicago and we did Facebook, FaceTimed him.
FaceTime, yeah.
And that was really a treat. I was just happy it would be with my kids and my husband and
to have lunch with her, you got to call her up and have your people get in touch with her people now, because she's big shot now.
That's what's happening, right? Like, I mean, and people, I'm sure other parents have this. You have your kids and all of a sudden they're in a relationship, they're off doing, things. Oh, I'm busy or then it becomes the kids. And this is a golden moment for me. They're still, both my kids still my babies, even they're grown up. So enjoy your kids when you have them.
Absolutely. And for everybody, just to reiterate, pick up Diane's book. It's on Amazon. All three of them are on there. I have the first two. I'm going to get the third. I'm having trouble with my PayPal. I can't stand PayPal, but I'm definitely going to get one. And I'm looking forward to, add it to my collection. The other two are really special to me. I even have the poster that you signed. So,
well, if you get it, and I come to New Jersey, I'll sign it for free for sure. So just, you've got some time.
I appreciate that. That's really great of you. Anything else you want to throw out there? Websites, Olivia, go for broke with the shameless plugs.
Okay, so we got actress Diane on Instagram. And on book, you'll have to go to the group page because the other one is full. So it's Diane Franklin, official Diane Franklin fans, I think. And it'll be pictures of my black and white books so that that's the right place to go. So you could join there. And I'm on Twitter, Diane Franklin 80, no S. But also I've done, I have some films that haven't come out yet. I have a short film that I think is going to be in a film festival this summer in August. And I have a pilot, a sort of TV pilot I was part of. So I've got a lot of different roles. I've got a voiceover in a film now. I also did a movie called Clay Zombies. So if you like zombie movies,
my fiance loves horror movies. We sit and watch Netflix all day watching them. I'm going to check them out.
If you like real horror, then go to Ted Bundy, American Boogeyman, or Amityville Murders. And if you like comedy, Clay Zombies.
That's too funny. Diane, as always, it was so great to catch up with you. It's been a while. I'm glad everything is going great with the family.
Thank you.
Tell Olivia
your family good? Everybody okay?
I lost my mother last year, but we're doing okay. I got engaged at Christmas time. I got a funny story for you. I was watching this TV show on Netflix called The Adventures of Merlin. I'm big into wizards and all that. So I wanted to do something special. So on Christmas Eve, we were at her parents' house and we were getting together, and I dressed up as King Arthur and proposed. That is so. It was so. I had to go to the costume store and get one of those cheesy costumes.
Bravo! I mean, it's like, yes, Yes, that more of that. Like I just, what
Yeah.
bring the magic into it.
Yeah.
Did she love it? I mean, was she like thrilled?
She was very emotional about it. I think she kind of knew because I had her sister as an inside spy. What it's funny was I went into the bathroom. I had her brother hide the costume in the bathroom for me, and then I made an excuse to go to the bathroom. I had to do like a quick change,
Oh, that's so
and
smart.
and then I
That
went on YouTube and I downloaded like when like in the back in the days when like a king or something entered, they play the trumpet. So I had one of these like fanfare things on YouTube. So I come out of the bathroom with the YouTube thing playing, and it was just so funny. But yeah, I'm old school romantic. I think a lot of
I
people
know.
forgot
I
that.
love it. I miss old school romantic, right? Remember
Yeah.
romance is beautiful. That's why I love nostalgia and old movies and things like that too. I think that's what's really that's what Better Off Dead had. It had romance too. So
Those are the kind of movies and like 2.5 Men, Everybody Loves Raymond, and the iconic '80s movies. That's what got me through COVID because I refused to watch the news then because it was nothing but all it did was depress you. So I mean, and I thank you for the entertainment value that you provided us for so many years, and I see that you're going strong. You show no signs of stopping, and I love that.
oh, thank you. Yeah, I definitely have a bunch of surprises.
Yeah.
So
Do me a quick favor, Diane. Before you go, could you do 2 IDs for me?
yeah,
Basically, you're going to introduce yourself and say you're listening to, or this is,
you're
introduce
listening to
yourself.
Animal House Radio live.
Right. Yes. And then can you do one as Monique?
Yes, absolutely.
Please, when you're ready, go.
Okay. Hi, this is Diane Franklin, and you are listening to Animal House Radio live. Bonjour, this is Monique Genot, and you are listening to Animal House Radio live. Au revoir.
Diane, thank you so much. God bless. If you need anything, just email me. Anything that comes up and you want to plug it, you have an open door.
You are an angel, and maybe we can get my daughter on. The two of us would be fun.
Oh, that'd be great. I would love to, see how it. She seems like she's going to be an A-lister. So, anything we could do to help her out.
Knock on wood, right? Fingers crossed, everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
All right.
My love to everybody, and we'll see you soon.
My love to everyone. Bye. Thanks for having me on the show.
Bye-bye.
Bye.